Hello everybody and welcome back to Benjamin Magnus Plays Kerbal Space Program. In this episode I'm going to make another attempt at constructing a space station. I'm not sure how many launches it's going to take because it's going to be a modular construction. So I'm going to have to build it in pieces and launch them up one at a time. So this, depending on how long this takes me, and how the editing goes and whatnot, this might be one episode, this might be 2 episodes. We'll see, I guess. But I'm going to show you just a couple things really quick. I did do another mission to the moon, Mooner 4, with a new spaceship design. It was really simple, it worked out really well, and I just did it to finish a couple contracts. It was nothing you hadn't already seen before. Straight up mission to the moon, landed, took back off, and made it back to Kerbal. And I got a bunch of science from that, and I managed to unlock a couple cool new things. So now I have access to these radial attachment ports, which will allow me to just attach these guys like this to the sides of other modules. So, like, if I wanted, what I'm going to do in the future, and by the future I either mean this episode or next episode probably, is have a center section kind of like this with a bunch of attachment ports in it. And what I could probably actually do is throw 2 of these up like that. Maybe do something like this, so I have all these attachment ports I can use to attach new sections of my space station to. And that is going to be like the basis of what I'm going to build here. So I'm going to get started, and we'll see where this takes us. Okay, here we go. I decided to start off with a manned command module. So we do have a one-man command pod with a bunch of utility items on it. Ton of batteries, photovoltaic panels, RCS fuel, RCS thrusters, lights, and a docking port on the bottom with a very, very standard rocket booster setup here. So we're going to see if we can put a command pod into orbit first. And here we go. Here we are in orbit with our first section of our space station, or Space Station Mark II here. And I noticed that I did bring way more fuel than I needed. I'm used to launching heavier payloads into space, so I could have done, even with, you know, I used a smaller center section than I used to use, but even with that still, I brought way too much fuel with me. I just got to try to remember that in the future. And my orbit is more elliptical than I want. So what I'm going to do is wait till I'm back over at my... Actually, could I do it over here? Yeah, I should be able to do it over here. No, what I'm gonna... Yeah, I was confusing myself a little bit. I don't want to mess myself up by doing something I haven't done before. So I'm just gonna get to my periapsis, burn retrograde a little bit, and try to make my orbit more circular, because that'll make it easier to meet up with this pod later. So let's just get a little bit closer. There we go. We're right about there. So we want to point retrograde, which is off in this direction. And we're starting to flop around a little. I could turn my RCS thrusters on, but I don't want to. We just need to thrust a little bit. I don't want to change this too much. I want to get it so they're roughly equal. About 100,000. 101, 96, 99, 96. There we go. 97, 95. Okay, that's about as close as I'm going to get it, I think. That's almost perfectly circular orbit at a very good altitude. It's high enough to be perfectly stable, but it's low enough that it's not going to take more fuel than necessary to go get it. And I just noticed Duna 1 flying out here. I'm going to have to try to grab that at some point. And look at all that fuel I have left over. Cause you'll see in just a second. I'm going to decouple these guys. And that's a full fuel tank right there that I don't even need. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just going to leave it in orbit. Waste of money. But this is new to me, so it's not entirely surprising that I didn't do this as efficiently as I could have. So we have a huge electrical charge stored up. Let's extend our solar panels here. Make sure that because these are big batteries, but they're going to power the whole space station. It's not just the command pod here. So we're going to get those out. I love the way they look when they're unfolding. It's just a really nice animation. And they'll all start turning towards the sun there, as best they can at least. Alright, and there we go. They should be providing plenty of energy with their direct sunlight. So now I have Bill Kerman in the space station. I have a bunch of monopropellant here and the RCS thrusters. That's my docking port. Right there. And I also have lights. The lights are there so if when I'm trying to dock another section, if I'm on the far side of the planet, on the opposite side of the sun, and it's really dark over there, then I'll be able to turn on the lights, give myself a little illumination so that I can better approximate my distance and whatnot. So we're going to leave this guy in orbit right where he is and just go back to the Space Center. Okay, here we are. Now we do not need any of this stuff anymore, basically. So we can take off the bod. Let's take off this right there, and we can get rid of all this because we just put that in there. And now we have this guy. Alright, let's just hit... I can't do anything with this right now. Well, maybe I have to put a command pod in there. And then it'll let me move things around. Okay, so I'll just leave that there for now. Let's just get rid of this whole thing. And we'll start working on the next section. Okay, here we are on the launch pad with our absolutely retarded looking second section of my space station here. And it's just two of these fuselage sections and a bunch of docking ports all around the edges. And if you're wondering what the hell this is, it is just the command module on there. I need to be able to control it in some way, so I needed to put a little probe on it. Shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. It's also much smaller. I'm hoping that because it's light, I'm going to be able to do this quite easily. So we're going to give it a go, see what happens. Let's try this out. Nope. Nope. Having the weight off center like that is making it completely uncontrollable. It's just not going to work. Whee! And just everything. I'm gonna have to give this another thought. I've been trying this for like an hour now and I just keep failing. So, if you've enjoyed this episode, drop me a like, leave me a comment, and if you're interested in more Benjamin Magnus Plays Kerbal Space Program, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.